Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at another rank 1 in the world team here from, I think, a Japanese player. But yeah, they actually played this team, I think, in the Open Great League. I only realized this now because I actually made a poll before on YouTube as well, asking what you want to see next. And I basically asked either the Ultra League variant then of the LilyNiRiain Dusk, or like this team here where I thought it was actually for the Remix Cup, but it wasn't. It's actually for the Open Great League, but I can say already, this team works super well in the Remix Cup as well. I got up to Expert with this, which you most likely can read through the title, but yeah. If you want to see the Ultra League video for LilyNiRiain Dusk as well, feel free to leave a like. If you hit like 444 likes in 6 hours, I am most likely going to upload this later on. If you don't hit this, I'm just going to upload something different. Just depends what you want to see, kinda can show that with it. But let's take a look here at the team. We're going to have the lead of the Poliwrath, and at least the video that I saw about it, like there was a different YouTuber, which I'm also going to link in the description, of course, I always give credits, that basically used this team here and said that this is from this player, and they retweeted and whatever. That's how I kind of know this team, but they used it and they had the normal Poliwrath there, so I decided to build my own one. And look at the first matchup here already. Cresselia is taking a lot of kills already as they can move on to the next game. Next opponent coming up, let's see what they're going to run here. We're going to have a Chestnut in the lead, which is going to be a little bit of an annoying Pokemon to deal with, as it's going to be a core breaker for our lead as well as our Say Swap. I know that a lot of people are going to complain a little bit about the Cresselia in the back. I know that's going to be a little bit tricky for a lot of people to get or whatever. I know what you could really use instead of this Pokemon, to be fair. I feel like you could even go for Gligar. Gligar Poliwrath core always kind of works, so like if you want to have something different there, go for Gligar. Gligar should work out pretty well as well for this team. But otherwise, this team worked out super well for me. Here I decided to let this superpower go through because I feel like I can still survive it, I can still realign, and then I have like equal shields with realignment, which is like super important anyway. But they're actually running Charizard with Dragon Breath here. And I'm fairly certain that this player just picked this team and just got the wrong Pokemon in. Because like there's no way that they're running Charizard with the move Dragon Breath, as well as you're going to see it right now here, which is so fucking funny. It is going to run the Fire Blast. Like this is up at like expert Edo range. It's not that I'm going to bet like someone completely random or whatever. I think they just literally misclicked and got the wrong Pokemon in, and so this is going to be a very good game. I don't think at least that Dragon Breath variant of the Charizard with Fire Blast is really a meta for the Open Great League, but I thought this hilarious, but of course I will take that win. So let's take a look at the next opponent. Here we're going to see the swap into the Dragonair. Dragonair is actually a decent matchup for the Lickitung. You can kind of go toe-to-toe with it. You're going to basically get to the move at the exact same time as the opponent does. But what we can do here is we can get 2 shields if I wanted to. Let's see what we can actually do here. Yes, we're going to be able to get ahead and get 2 shields. The issue for this team might be something like the Charger Bug. You're going to see the Charger Bug quite often here during this battle, so like you can see at least how to handle it, and it's still kind of possible to handle it for sure. Here I'm going to decide to let all those moves go through because I know that they have the Charger Bug, of course, so I decide to just go ahead, and here I have to shield because I need to keep my energy, but I kind of need to keep energy in general in order to deal with that Pokemon. But they swap out into the Dragonite, and here is where being a non-Shadow variant really comes in clutch, because I'm going to be able to let this move go through. I can still go for the Icy Wind, and so I will be able to still get the knockout against the opponent, while my Shadow variant would have been down already. So here, normal Poliwrath actually doing a lot of like work which you wouldn't be able to do with the other variant of it. I can still go for a Future Sight here, but I can only win this game if the opponent decides to catch with no real reason, because they would actually be able to just get me insanely low and then farm me down with the other Pokemon here, with the Dragonair, but they decide to catch, which doesn't make sense. And so we can go for the Future Sight and win this game. Good game there, but yeah, they could have won this game most likely. Next opponent coming up, we're going to have an insanely good lead for us, which is going to be the Steelix, but a lot of Steelix now tell to go for the Psychic Fangs over the Breaking Swipe. I still would recommend you to go for Breaking Swipe, to be fair. You could go for Psychic Fangs as a secondary move, or like Crunch, or like Earthquake, or like Heavy Slam. Like there are a lot of options. I still feel like that Breaking Swipe is still the best move for it, because like I feel like a lot of people just don't really realize that Breaking Swipe is still just a better variant of the Dragon Claw. I feel like people would rather play currently Dragon Claw than Breaking Swipe, which is like weird. Yeah, it's just a Dragon Claw that has a 50% chance to debuff the opponent's attack, and it is really strong. So please still keep Breaking Swipe on your Steelix. It's still way better than anything else, at least in my opinion. Can still go for a secondary move of the Psychic Fangs to punish those Fighting type Pokemon, of course. But here we're going to encounter a matchup that I don't want to face with this team, or especially with the backline. It's going to be the Mandibuzz. But at this point, I know I have an idea here. I will be able to just take this and I should be able to swap out, and you know that I have a ton of energy from my lead still, and so I can swap out and go for the Icy Wind, which basically going to allow us to get a shield or get a ton of damage against the opponent. They swap out into the Charger Bug, still getting hit by a Scald, which is also gonna get the debuff, which is just amazing for me, as I'm now deciding to go into my Cresselia. Cresselia has way less to do against the Mandibuzz than, for example, my Lickitung, and Lickitung is pretty low already, so I will be able to just take those moves from the Charger Bug here onto my Cresselia. I can go for my Grass Knot, and while we're getting kinda hard-rolled the entire time here, we're still coming back just because we have such overpowered Pokemon, and yes, they're gonna be able to go for a charge move here before I get to the Grass Knot, but I let this move go through just in case I have another move stored, because I know I have so much energy on my Lickitung. And so I can just go for the Body Slam spam, and I will be able to reach the next one in time as well. And so this is going to be a good game, even though that was kinda a tough matchup to play in. Let's see what the next opponent is going to run. It's actually a mind joke. I didn't even realize I battled against him. That's kind of cool. Like, also a streamer from Italy, already qualified for the Worlds. But here's something that I do in the mirror with Poliwrath. Because I have 3 attack on my Poliwrath, I usually going to be able to win the CMP in the lead, and if I go for Icy Wind, what the opponent does here as well, which is kind of funny, I can kind of command like how this first matchup is going to go. Like I will be able to either get a shield advantage now or the switch advantage, and I'm totally okay with that. I can go for the Scald now, and now the opponent can decide, do they want to keep this Pokemon around, do they not? They do not, and I decide to still swap out here. They're going to have a Gligar in the back here, which is going to be a little bit of a trickier one, but let's see what they're going to do here. They're going to go straight for the Aerial Ace, which I didn't really understand too much. I would have at least went up to the dig, but they're staying in here. I can just go for the Body Slam. Maybe they just want to get rid of a little bit of health of my Lickitung. I don't know really what they have in the back. I cannot remember really this game. They're going to go for the dig now, which is going to be fine. They're going to have a Clodsire in the back, and this is going to be a little bit of a trickier one for us. But let's see what we can do here. We will be able to just go for another charge move against the opponent. And also, you can copy this team, by the way, also from the opponent. I feel like that's a really solid team, but I make a great play here because I decide to use a shield here. And this will allow us to get the debuff onto the opponent's Clodsire while still getting the shield onto the from the Clodsire. And now I can take those moves way easier with the Cresselia. And you see me swapping in immediately because I want to basically force the opponent to throw energy against my Cresselia while being debuffed, because now the opponent swaps out into the Gligar. I will be able to just knock them out, have a ton of energy here still, and I can still just go for the Grass Knot spam. But this game is not over. As you're going to see here, the opponent still has a ton of energy. They were like at 100 energy around about there, I feel like, with the Clodsire before. And so they're going to go for an Earthquake now. And I kinda need to try to catch a move here. And I can, which is going to be really great for me. But it's also scary because just the Stone Edge, and Stone Edge is not going to get us knocked out here, but we can still reach the Body Slam in time. And so we're going to start this game here, or like this video, with a 5-0 set. And this is also the 5-0 set that was enough for me to just claim the next rank. So here, nothing faked or anything like this. You're going to see it all here right now. Every battle that I did with this team again is going to be in this video as well. Next opponent, we're going to have here the Poliwrath in the lead, which is again a matchup where you're just gonna go up to a Scald, then go for the Icy Wind, and now kinda command on how that's gonna go. Unless you're going to have Dynamic Punch, which is pretty rare. You're going to be fine here, and we see the Charger Bug coming in, and I decide to go for the Icy Wind here. They might want to use a shield, they might not want to use a shield, I don't know, but I need to get the debuff because it's going to make the matchup so much better for your Lickitung. Like, literally so much better. And as we're going to see, I can just go ahead and go for the Body Slam spam afterwards, but you see as well, the Exeter is not going to do any damage anymore, which is kind of wild. Like, I feel like the impact of the Icy Wind was really visible here, so we can still go for a Body Slam, go for the full farm down, and we're in a really decent position as we can maybe even go for like a charge move here against the opponent's Poliwrath, which is most likely gonna swap in here. Let's see if we can go for the Body Slam. We sadly cannot. If this is an Icy Wind, I think I still survive it though. It's a Scald, so they're gonna knock me out, but I can still go into my Cresselia, and now it depends really on what they're going to have in the back. They're gonna go for the Icy Wind, so debuffing my attack. I can still go for a Grass Knot here to knock them out, and it depends on what they're going to run in the back here, if we can still win or not. It's going to be the Gligar, and I had to swap out here to try to go for the Icy Wind, but sadly I'm not able to. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to have a Skarmory in the lead, which is going to be a great lead for us, I guess, for this team. And I make a little bit of a mistake here, I would say. I should have stayed in and just went for the Icy Wind. Like, this would have been a little bit of a better play, in my opinion, because now it's going to be a little bit of a tougher one to still come back from. But let's see what we can do here. We can still go for a Body Slam against the opponent, and we can still get the knockout here, which is great. Also, honestly, shiny Shadow Dragonair looks kinda nice, right? But as we see here, we can go for the body slam spam against the opponents. Skarmory now, but they of course go for the great play of going for the full farm down. Knowing that we can only go for resisted moves and knowing that the energy going to help them quite a bit against the Poliwrath, which we have to swap back into here, is kind of nice. But also, we were able to reach the Icy Wind before they can go for their own charge move, allowing us to get a debuff, which we don't really take advantage of, because I'm just gonna go ahead and shield this move up as well. Because with this, the opponent is going to be forced to swap out afterwards, and they're still going to be able to get to an Icy Wind, and as they're going to go into the Dragonite here, I know that I can now survive all those moves with my, Cresselia. Cresselia is so bulky in the back that it does not really matter what they want to go for. They should be able to reach 2 Dragon Claws in time. But do we care? We do not care, because as you can see here, it barely does any damage. And so even Cresselia are going to be able to just go for the future side, knock them out of the park here, as we can now just get some extra energy and go for the Grass Knot, which should be enough to knock out the opponent's Skarmory as well. And this is going to be a very good game. Honestly, this team was amazing to play. Again, I completely forgot that this was actually an Open Great League team, but yeah, I mean, if it still works in this meta, why not, right? Like, why not? We're going to be able to just go for some Icy Winds against here the opponent, but here is something which is kind of really awkward, because this is not how it's supposed to go. I have 3 attack and I still lose CMP tie, so the opponent has of course more attack, which is something that is rarer to be seen. Like, this was the only time where I lost CMP time, and it matters quite a bit. I feel like the matchup would have been completely different if I would have been able to win the CMP tie in the beginning, and so I kinda now being pretty far back in the game plan, and I kinda still have to try to come back from it. But as you can see as well, the opponent is not running Earthquake. If I was the opponent, at least I would go up to an Earthquake here, because they're not threatened by a Body Slam yet. Like, I still have to get, I don't know, 20-30% by lick damage off from the opponent before a Body Slam knocks them out. And I know already what they're going to have in the back. It's going to be a Gligar. Like, if you have a Gliscor, you always have a Gligar. Like, it's literally a law, basically. So, I know that I kind of have to still keep my Pokemon around. They're going to go into the Poliwrath. And here's the unfortunate part as well, which most likely would have been different if we just didn't lose the CMP in the beginning, because as we're going to see here, the opponent just barely has too much health here for me to farm them all the way down. So I'm forced to use a shield, which is really awkward. I'm double debuffed now, which is really awkward. The future side would be doing way more damage later on. We're going to see, of course, the Gliscor trying to get some energy from me, but I can still go for the future side, and this would have done way more damage and maybe still put me in a position where I could have won this game. But as you're going to see here, there's no way for me to win this anymore. It's just unfortunate sometimes. Here definitely was just the CMP tie in the lead. Again, I would like to have a little bit of a higher attack Poliwrath in general. I think that's always kind of nice to have, because winning CMP tie is pretty damn important, I have to say. We're going to see the Poliwrath coming in from the opponent here, and they're going to get the attack drop here immediately. And this is going to be a little bit of a risky play now that I'm going to do, because I decided now to let this move go through, and it's just an Icy Wind, which is going to be amazing for me, because if this was a Scald, I would have been screwed. Like, I could have been screwed at least, because the opponent would have been able to just go for the full farm down, just use one shield, farm me down, and realign, and like, if they realign their Obstagoon against my Lickitung, I'm going to have a problem there. But what is also kind of nice here is that the opponent is going to go ahead and go for a charge move now, and they were at 100 energy, so they're now at 65. They're going to go for one fast move, so they're now at 72. And so this cannot be a Hyper Beam, and it cannot be a Gunk Shot either. I think Gunk Shot is 75 and the Hyper Beam is 80, if I'm not wrong with that. So for me, I was just super clear there that I don't have to use a shield, which is super important for me, as I can now go for an Icy Wind against the opponent's Charizard. I will still be able to reach another Body Slam against the opponent, and this is going to hopefully get the knockout. Now they're going to use a shield here, of course, and it's still not over, because the opponent has one play that they can make. They're of course going to go for the Dragon Claw here, still use a shield, but if they're going to be able to just go for too many charge moves here that they can swap out in time, and I tried to go for another charge move again and it didn't work again, it's going to be a little bit tricky, and they do exactly this. So now the Obstagoon comes back in, but because I called the Dragon Claws, I will be able to still keep my shield, and so I can't just go for another Body Slam. They can go for as many Dragon Claws as they want. They just kinda, yeah, waste my time here, to be fair. Like, this game was over long ago, but still good effort there as we can move on to the final battle. Final battle for today, we're going to have another Charger Bug in the lead. Again, horrible lead for us. We swap out into our Lickitung. We hope that the opponent stays in here. They decide to go for a charge move, which is going to be great for us. For Charger Bug, you kind of need to have either your Lickitung or you have to have energy on your other Pokemon. And here we're going to see a swap that I don't really like, which is going to be, of course, the opponent swapping into the Lickitung, because I don't do damage with my fast move and my charge moves are kinda soaked up as well. But what I can try to do here is try to force the opponent to go for a charge move and then swap out into my Poliwrath, trying to get as much energy as possible. We're going to see me here swapping out, getting a head on energy as well, and I decide to use a shield, which is kind of silly because I went for the body slam. Of course I couldn't know, like Power Whip would have done a ton of damage, but now they decide to go into the charger bug and they actually use a shield onto my Icy Wind, which is amazing because now I will be able to let this next move go through and this discharge does not knock me out. And I honestly have to say the non-shadow variant of Poliwrath was really good, like honestly way better than expected, so definitely worth building as well if you don't have the shadow variant. Like both of them have like their own kind of unique way of playing, and so I like this one. I like this one quite a bit. We're going to now let this move go through and we just hope that our Cresselia can knock out 3 Pokemon. Let's see, let's swap out into the Lickitung. I can try to go for a charge move here, but it will not really work out, and I think they kept a charge move stored with their other Pokemon, but I'm not too sure about it. And here I'm kinda curious. I should have got more energy here. I should have definitely got more energy here. Of course I didn't know what they have in the back, which I know now, which is going to be a Jellicent. But I feel like I kinda misplay this last bit of battle quite a bit. Because the opponent is going to be forced to go for a Shadow Ball here. And I thought I could just go for a sneaky knockout there already with a Grass Knot, which doesn't work out. But I went straight for my charge move afterwards, which does not really make too much sense. If I overfarm by quite a bit, then I only need 1 fast move more for the Grass Knot, which I could have done. I would have been so fine, but sadly I lose last game. And I feel like 2 out of the 3 losses that I had today were something that I could have definitely won if I played a little bit better. So something to learn from, something to do better next time. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like again. 444 likes for the like and work. Otherwise, you're gonna take a look at something different, and I see you then. Bye bye.